With the release of Ye Shunguang's trailers and the new version, a huge discussion has erupted. Is this character actually one with depth and good writing, or is she designed to be waifu bait? First, what exactly does waifu bait even mean? It typically means a female character that was designed with specific traits to appeal to a male audience. Some go as far as to note that the bait part refers to being tricked or lured into liking a character so that you will spend money to obtain them in the game or buy merchandise of them. You'll find that in gacha games that each character is designed with a specific audience in mind. They are to be marketed after all. I think one of the easiest ways to pick this up is to watch the trailers and the demos, which is exactly what kickstarted this conversation around Ye Shunguang. Remember when Jane Doe's trailer came out? It was pretty obvious who that trailer was catered towards. A less popular one was Astra's trailer, but it was a pretty dark trailer for a character that's a famous and cheerful singer in the game. It's undeniable that Ye Shunguang's trailers are also meant for a specified audience. We get to see her attacking enemies with her badass swords, and yeah, the animation is pretty damn good. I think if her demo was just her showing off her combat skills in a holo, most players wouldn't find much issue with it. It's because of the appearance of the main protagonist. The protagonist in Zenless Zone Zero was unique because of their ability to navigate through the holos using a bamboo. In Season 2, the protagonists are now training at Swabian Temple, and depending on the protagonist you choose, that one will now go into the holos personally. It's a decision that myself and many others have criticized. While I do agree that the protagonist should grow and become stronger, such a unique element to their character was lost. At the very least, the other sibling that you don't choose does stay back to work with Fairy and use EOS still, but we see the consequences of having one of the siblings in the holos a lot. Heck, even in Season 1, whenever the proxies accidentally found themselves personally in a holo, it never went well. They've always been a liability to the other characters around them. This was shown once again in Ye Shunguang's trailer as she needed to draw upon the power of her sword to save lives. For the unacquainted, this is the Qingming sword. Every time she uses it, she will lose some of her memory as its cost. Some call it the dementia sword. The end of this demo shows Ye Shunguang waking up with Wise next to her in a scene that many wrote off as unnecessary and fan service. We also have to consider that Ye Shunguang is the next big character. Think of the Archons from Genshin Impact. These big characters in Zenless Zone Zero are known as the Void Hunters. So far, only one has been released per version. The previous one was Miyabi, and she had some excellent trailers. She even got to appear in Yi Xuan's trailer, who isn't a Void Hunter but still pretty strong, and many fans were hoping that Ye Shunguang would get an epic trailer like that. Instead, we get her sacrificing her memory to save the protagonist. The other trailer we get is a song, and it seems to be a high school alternate universe setting. I do like the title of 1,000 First Meetings, as it fits pretty well with her memory loss, but it doesn't contribute much to her overall character, just like her demo didn't either. As another Void Hunter, she's going to get compared to Miyabi, and Miyabi's trailer was about her upbringing and mother's sacrifice. To go from a trailer giving a Void Hunter so much depth to one of a school is weird. I can understand if this is acting as one large metaphor, but it doesn't land the same way. And of course, this trailer had a lot of focus on the proxies. Sure, there's little cameos of the other Swabian Temple characters, but that's about it. But do trailers alone make a character bait? I played through the entirety of Season 2, Chapter 6, aka the finale of Version 2 stories, to find out. This is your spoiler warning, as I will be going over some plot points, though I will be focusing more on Ye Shunguang's character. And with most of my videos, this is my opinion, so you're absolutely free to agree or disagree at any point. Ye Shunguang is written to be a nice self-sacrificing character. She was chosen by the Qingming sword, and despite the side effects of using said sword, she's willing to do so to protect Failum Heights. That's what we're given at the start, but then we see the other Ye Shunguang, the one with the white hair. This is described as her quote other self, who is selfish and only cares about her own survival. This presents the inner conflict that Ye Shunguang was going through, but doing it in a split personality route, I'm not sure is my favorite way to portray this. The other Ye Shunguang is also way more forward, and though it is not animated, there's a ton of black screens in this patch with white text. A lot of the times it was text of Ye Shunguang falling into the proxy's arms as well. No, seriously. Because Ye Shunguang is constantly relying on her sword, she gets weaker and weaker. She begins to lose her senses and forgets what happened earlier in the day. This to me is a fine way to show the price of the sword's power, but her constant constant literal falling onto faith in did feel forced. To help establish the bonding connection of the two characters, it was revealed that they actually met in childhood. Ye Shunguang's music box was broken shortly after the sword had chosen her and her parents passed away. Belle, or Wise, fixes the music box, and it's apparently a moment that left a significant mark on her. It's implied later on in the quest that Ye Shunguang knew that Belle, or Wise, was the one she met when she was younger, but kept it quiet. While this does explain some levels of closeness she has with our proxies, it does feel not only convenient, but also quick. Like the writers wanted to express her character in this way, but needed another reason for it to make sense. While a lot of the proxies' history remains a secret, it's still hard for me to envision them having been in Phylum Heights when they were small. So the childhood scene felt far more abrupt than anything else. This could have easily been fixed if the proxy had a thought of familiarity upon their first meeting. That at least would have helped tie this plot point in much better. We also get to see the main proxy constantly standing up for Ye Shunguang as the other characters in the cast are trying to make decisions for her. The character describes it as being in a glass house that's constantly cleaned and taken care of, but she's not allowed to leave. I do like that the proxy helps Ye Shunguang find her voice, but it's definitely overused. You can tell that in the story, in order for it to move forward, they need Ye Shunguang to go into the hollows, but the other characters' personalities would clash with that idea, making for a lot of really messy scenes. They'd argue for a bit, the proxy would stand up for Ye Shunguang, asking what she thinks, and then they'd reluctantly let her in the hollow. I actually like the beginning far more when they first snuck into the hollow with Zhao. That felt far more realistic compared to what we got later on in the story. Oh, and we can't forget the date scenes. We get two, one prior to the story quest in the previous patch, and another one where she randomly changes into her skin outfit for this patch. I do get what the writers were trying to do here. By creating memories with the proxy, it will increase the stakes when Ye Shunguang releases her sword's abilities. However, the second date scene felt more like a reminder that you can purchase this pretty skin alongside rolling for the brand new character. We already got a date scene once, and this was honestly enough for the foundation in the story. We didn't need another one. I felt as if this was interrupting the flow of the story. We could have still gotten that important osmanthus cake scene where she forgets the ingredients and the steps without needing a second date run. In addition to the date scene, she does straight up tell the proxy that she loves them. It starts out of her describing it like loving like a sibling, but then there's an addendum that suggests that there's more to it. This is even more awkward considering the little screen time they've had together. It feels like they've met each other in like the past few weeks. While there is far more that happens in this finale, does what happened make Ye Shunguang a multi-leveled character with depth, or was she written as a one-note character for the sole purpose of marketing? Honestly, I do think the writers tried to give her depth. We have the inner conflicts between the two versions of Ye Shunguang. We have a conflict with her brother trying to free her from the Qingming sword. We have the revelation that her coming to Suibian Temple and forging a bomb of the sword maybe wasn't a coincidence after all. We have the climax of the story where she decides to let the creator use her as a vessel and then destroy herself so that the creator couldn't descend and wreak havoc on everyone. But then we have the date scenes. We have her running into trouble that apparently only the proxy can fix. When she loses her senses, it's written in the story that the proxy is the only one that can help her regain them. It's written that the proxy will be the one to bring her home, that the proxy will be the one to catch her. Can't she fly? That the proxy was the one that showed her the light in the darkness of the abyss. They had actually met when they were children. Do you see where I'm going with this? The Suibian Temple characters play a backstage role while the proxy shows the way for Ye Shunguang. In the season 1 finale, all of the faction we had met so far worked together to overcome the final obstacle. Miyabi still got the spotlight, and yes, the proxy helped her too, but there was a sense of teamwork and cohesion among the cast. We don't really get that for season 2. We see the developers trying to recreate that moment in 1.4 with the season 2 characters going up the Lemnian Hollow, but many of them are meeting Ye Shunguang for the very first time. Writing her to be off-screen training in the mountains I think really disrupted the development she could have had before the timeline of the main story. The Suibian Temple characters are portrayed to be very well interconnected, but they feel so disconnected from Ye Shunguang. In fact, when Shunguang even appeared in the story, it felt abrupt. I don't think Ye Shunguang is completely waifu bait, but I do believe the story pandered towards the player more than it should have. There's glimpses of character with depth, but it's glossed over with the I couldn't have done it without the proxy finish. There's nothing wrong with the proxy being a critical character in the story, but I do think it came at the cost of her character. Yi Xuan was so strong that they had to write her out of the majority of the version 2 story, and only the future will tell if her off-screen time will actually have a relevance or not. Miyabi felt very out of place in the trailers, and it's only until we realize that the Void Hunter weapons are special that it makes sense for her to be there. This turned into a bit of a season 2 analysis on the smaller scale, but I still hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. I don't think the answer to this question is a straightforward yes she's bait or no she's not. I will say the constant reliance on the proxy in almost everything did make her character a lot less interesting. Zhao got some attention in this finale too, and I ended up way more invested in her development than in Ye Shunguang's. If Zhao wasn't free, I would probably be pulling for her instead of Ye Shunguang. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and consider subscribing. I've made a few other Zenless Zone Zero videos in the past that you can watch next if you want. Let me know what you think about Ye Shunguang's character, and I hope to see you in the next one.